What's going on, guys? Got a new to me car. It's a '03 Saturn View. I already own one of them, and the things I like about it is just front wheel drive. Both of them is front wheel drive. I think you can get them in all wheel drive. The silver one has a 4-cylinder. This one has a 3.0 V6. Things I like about them is like the ground clearance. You know, I can drive around out on the property and not drag my exhaust off. Get around in the snow a little better just because of the ground clearance. You know, driving up even this lane here in this park, you know, they'll wait 2 or 3 days after you got a foot of snow before they'll worry about clearing it off. And that Malibu over there kind of struggles with just driving in here. But there's some interesting things about it. But I bought it for $1,500. It has 150,000 miles on it. Things about this vehicle is it's all plastic on the outside. I mean, it can rust out underneath. This one here is a little rusty underneath, but it's not, you know, rusted out or anything. Probably get a good few years out of it before it starts having you know, structural integrity problems underneath. Tires. These front ones are about half tread. The guy said he bought them a year ago. The back ones, they're like 90% tread. But probably this car is like probably a $3,500 car, maybe $4,000 running perfect. You know, everything's good to go on it. But the said it runs for about a half an hour and it quits. And he even said that he thought it needed a new crankshaft positioning sensor. And I pulled it out, and it has a crack in the end of it, so it's probably... And the code even says it has that. There is another code on it, though, that says something about the throttle. The throttle on this is operated by a servo. Had a code running for it, so I don't know if there's going to be an issue with that. But one of the interesting things about this thing is within like 1 day of owning this thing, I discovered this thing in it. It's a global positioning device, and it seems like it's capable of, well, these two wires right here was to cut the ignition so that you can turn the ignition on, and I suppose if you jump, you know, across the starter, you could get it to start. It'll start right up. But this was just limiting you from turning it over. And it also plugged into the OBD2 connector. Basically, you know, you unhooked it, you know, this from the bottom of the dash, you know, put its connector in there and plug this one into the original. So I suppose maybe it might have had more capabilities than just cutting the ignition, you know, turning it over switch. But yeah, I discovered this thing underneath there within 1 day, mostly because I seen this little flashing underneath the dash. I'm like, what the heck's that? And this thing has like a little LED on it. But somebody was saying that car lots oftentimes put these on, so if you don't make your payment, you can't drive the car. If you know anything about anything, I mean, this thing took 5 minutes to rip back out from under the dash. So I mean, whoopty crap. Either that or somebody was like trying to keep track of their girlfriend or something. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting to find that in there. Other things I discovered with it is the guy never mentioned anything about it, but the headlights didn't work. I mean, you could pull back this, and the brights would come on, and as soon as you let go, they just turn back off. And I looked up and seen the ignition switch not the ignition switch, but the turn signal switch was, it's $30 to $60. You can get a used one or a new one. And I just took this one out and discovered that one of the wires was broke off and needed resoldered back on. soldered it back on, and now my headlights work. And another thing that is common for Saturn, especially when, like this Saturn here, it was actually a Saturn. It's not just a duplicate of something else. But the ignition switch, and which is irrelevant, I guess. Yeah. Every time you put the key in, turn it on, and turn it off, it has a device in there that's like grabbing the sides of the key, and so when you pull it out, it scrapes the key, and it doesn't take very long, maybe 30 or 40,000 miles per key, and the key is shot, and it will no longer, unlock the steering. So I actually just took the, you just use a pin. Let's see if it's laying here. Yeah, little pin, which there's some videos other people have on there, but you turn the ignition switch on to accessories, and you got to take this cover off and stuff like that. There's some bolts underneath the bottom. You slide this little pin in, and with the ignition on accessories, and it pulls the whole tumbler out. And I just took it, and there's a little strip on the one side of it that when you put the key in, the little strip drops down, which allows the thing to turn. And I just ground it off. Basically, anybody that knows about this car would know that all you gotta do is stick any key in it. You stick any key, a screwdriver, anything, and it'll turn on. And I just looked at, like, we're not making a video about it, but who really knows me or where I live, besides a couple of my relatives watch this stuff. But nobody any of the wiser is not going to know any different. It still has a normal looking switch, but you can stick anything in there to turn it on. It was like $78 or something for a new tumbler with 2 keys. But then that key wouldn't match the doors. The key does still open the doors up, so just a little cheat to make that work. So far, the only thing I bought for it is that sensor for the crankshaft. This was an easy fix. The ignition switch was an easy fix. And the inside of it, not too bad. A little stain here and there. What I did to the other Saturn, which you can see here, it's like, let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see it now. It's like there's like a rubberized layer on this piece here, and I actually took this whole piece off and soaked it in gasoline for like overnight, and that rubberized layer just peels right off of it, and then underneath of it is a texture. It's just, this here just gives it like a soft touch, kind of like a pencil with a rubberized layer on it. But it gets rid of this nasty looking thing going on here. That's just a boring video of show and tell, I guess. But hopefully, I just replaced that sensor. I got it up and running another car. All my cars are getting kind of old, so I wanted to get something else, because a lot of times something breaks, I need 2 cars between me and my wife, and if you get beaters, it's a lot nicer to have one you can just go start it up and drive the other one until you get one fixed. I did notice some kind of scraping, squealing noise in the back wheel, one of the back wheels. Might need some new brake shoes, and I think like the back shocks might need replaced. They're like $40 for a new set of those. But yeah, mostly the videos I wanted to show you guys that global positioning kill switch thing they put on it. Probably somebody bought it at a budget car lot at some point, and which I think is a stupid thing to do, and I think somebody could actually end up getting sued by something over that, because, like, say you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and because you didn't make your payment, they disable your car, and it's 20 below zero outside, and somebody's going to get froze to death. I think that's a dumb thing to do. Any car lot owner watching this video, I would sue you. If I got stranded somewhere in the middle of the freezing weather and my car wouldn't start, I don't care. It's my property until you come and get it. So that's a bunch of crap. But, well, I guess I'll catch you guys later.